But yeah, let's go over our plot pitches for our perfect Mortal Kombat movie. So I've got 3 ideas as a plot. The last one's a bit of a throwaway plot. What's yours, Ben? How many you got?
Yeah, I've got 2, but they're mainly more starting off points rather than a whole cohesive narrative.
Well, I'll go first. I'll say my first plot idea. So my first plot idea is to tell how the Mortal Kombat tournament actually came to be. You know, they've done prequels in the past. I'm not sure in the games, but they've done prequels by the sounds of it, the TV series is a prequel. You know, the animated movie was a prequel, Scorpion. But actually tell the story how Elseworld... Is it Elseworld? Is that where Shao Kahn's from? Was it Neverworld or something like that?
Can't tell you off the top of my head.
How that came to be, you know, with the gods saying, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll sort out this this problem by giving you a tournament that you can do every year, blah, 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 blah. And you've got to win 5 and just show how that came to be. And I don't really know who from the games would actually pop up on it. I'm guessing Shao Kahn could. I'm guessing Goro could. I'm guessing maybe Raiden. I don't know how old he is, really. But I think that could be quite an interesting premise. I'm not really sure how it would work. I just think, show that, they want to invade Earth and the gods get involved. And just show that how it came to be. And I think that could be quite, before Sub-Zero, before Scorpion. Give us new, interesting characters, totally made up ones, it's a fresh canvas. You can do whatever you want with it. Who's this guy? Doesn't matter because he's brand new, Oh, that's not Scorpion. No, it's not. It's someone completely different. They could. I just think that's quite an interesting premise that I would like to see anyway.
Yeah, I think it might have the problem of getting more casual fans to come and watch it. Maybe they'll come to it expecting to see Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah, I think maybe the actual premise of it would probably work better in a game. I've not played Mortal Kombat 11, but I know it does some timey-wimey stuff. But I think it's as a concept, I just think it's quite interesting. Whether they tell it for a game, a series, an animated movie, a full-blown budget movie, it would be interesting either way, yeah. But yeah, maybe getting the casual fans on board would be a bit trickier.
Yeah, but I think that would work well as you say, as like an animated movie, probably.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, that was just my main one that I thought of. What's your one?
Yeah. The first one I'll say is just have something akin to the original film. So when I was watching it this week, the thing I enjoyed the most was just the story. I liked how obviously they had Liu Kang as the main character, which is seen a lot more in the recent games. Whereas at the time when it came out, it was more Scorpion and Sub-Zero were your poster boys. So they chose Liu Kang, who interacts a lot with Sonia and Johnny as well. So have something similar to that, where you just have Liu Kang. And at the start of the film, spoilers already, if you got this far into the podcast, at the start of the film, you have Kung Lao, who has just been defeated by Shang Tsung. Just have something similar to that, where he's just got to go and save his brother, or you could have a new character or whatever. And in the film, the tournament happens. You see it in the film with Shang Tsung heading up the tournament, and he's got Goro and everyone. But the only thing about the original, well, not the only thing I didn't like, but the main thing that stood out to me was the use of Scorpion and Sub-Zero, how they just come in as kind of puppets for Shang Tsung, and they're not really fleshed out. They don't really say anything other than the iconic "get over here." which is done really well, actually, in my opinion, in the film. But I'd like them to be fleshed out more. But have a narrative structure akin to Infinity War, where you have the groups of characters. You have like the Guardians and Thor in this place. You have Spider-Man and Iron Man in this place. And you could meet them and have it across, like have your special forces over here, your classic ninjas over here, your monks and your gods. And then if you wanted to include them, have the Shao Khan and his family, and then have them all meet together at the end. It probably does have that problem you brought up earlier about just putting all your characters in at once. So you don't need every character, you know. If you wanted to keep it to the monks and the gods and special forces, then just keep it to that. But if you wanted to throw in your classic ninjas and the Shao Kahn family, maybe more as just little cameos, that might work. But honestly, just replicate what was done already, because I think the story was very, very solid. The main problems with it was just the visual effects. Some of the acting's a little bit dodgy at points. But I think if they pretty much just remade it with a bigger budget, I think it'd do really well.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that could be what the new film is trying to sort of follow, is keep it sort of grounded, you know, keep you follow a group of people rather than you just, we're over here for 5 minutes, now we're over here for 10 minutes, now we're back here for 5 minutes. I think maybe that's what a lot of issues I had with the Star Wars film Rogue One was, to start off with, the characters are all over the place, and then all of a sudden they're best mates, you know. And with Avengers Infinity War, they're not best mates when they, you know, when they get together and stuff. And I think that could be quite interesting. I think the actual, like you said, with the Sub-Zero and the Scorpion, maybe they're sort of following that a bit more in the newer movie. I'm not sure. From the trailer, it looked like they were definitely more of a feature, especially at the end. With Scorpion's what's it? The chain, the get over here. Would you call that a chain? I'm not sure, but
it's like a spear on a chain.
Yeah, goes through someone's neck at the end of it. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Just thought, was not expecting that. So yeah, maybe they're a bit more of a threat in this newer movie. But yeah, like from what I heard of the story, it doesn't sound like there's anything wrong with it. I think a lot of fans would be happy with it. And it actually brings me to my second plot idea, is that you just redo Mortal Kombat 9 as a movie. You just follow that plot. You know, to start off with, you have got your group of characters. Maybe give a bit more backstory, because Mortal Kombat 9 it starts and you're all together and you're in the tournament. Maybe give it a little bit more backstory. But to your sort of same idea, it is just following your heroes, isn't it? It is just following Liu Kang and stuff like that. And yeah, it goes off a little bit. But Mortal Kombat 9 as a reboot was the perfect way to not only do old fans justice, but to bring in new fans like me and yourself. I never played a Mortal Kombat game until Mortal Kombat 9. I love the games now. I really look forward to them. I've not played 11, but I was about to buy it earlier. But the Ultimate Edition with all the DLC characters is like 25-30 quid now. I'll buy that. It's gonna give me 10 hours of gameplay, and the stories are so solid in those games. They're really fleshed out. They give time to build up characters and stuff. I think in Mortal Kombat 9 there's a few things that they maybe can leave out in the movie. When they go to Elseworld and then they go back to Earth, I thought it was a bit jarring. Just keep it small and keep it. This is the tournament. Shao Kahn cheats, doesn't he? I think he cheats at the end or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I played the game, but I remember it's such a solid story that they can just do that. They can have the Raiden flashbacks, and what would be actually quite cool is the Raiden flashbacks are from the 95 movie, or, because I've not seen the 95 movie, but at the end, does Shao Kahn just appear?
Yeah,
Is that
he
at the
just
end?
comes out of a rock. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you could have the flashbacks, like in Mortal Kombat 9, flashbacks to, I think it's Mortal Kombat Armageddon, where they're going up the pyramid and it all goes tits up at the end. You could have that happen with the new movie and flashing back to the 95 movie, and even having maybe the cast, I don't know, sort of getting back, de-age and whatever you need to do, all defeated at the end, or just put a mask on them. Just put a mask on them. You're not going to be able to tell, or just have them like beaten, look like they, show their backside and just show Shao Khan or something. I think that could work quite well as a movie, because the story is basically one long movie, isn't it? Anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think just do redo Mortal Kombat 9 as a movie. It was a good reboot as a game. It could be a good reboot as a movie. Obviously, this new movie coming out, I have to wait to see what happens there. But yeah, they could do that. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I'd say from the stories that I've played from Mortal Kombat, so I've played 9, 10, and 11, and I think 9's probably my favorite in terms of overall solid narrative.
Yeah.
11, it gets a little bit confusing with all the time stuff. But yeah, just have the tournament Outworld, it's called as well.
Outworld, thank you. Probably all these people listening to a podcast like this bloody noob don't know Mortal Kombat at all. Sorry, I've not played the games in at least 2 years, so I'm really up for playing the games again now. Though now we're on the subject, but I think they could do
the
it.
end. Yeah, the end of 95 kind of has like Shang Tsung defeated, and then you have like Raiden, Liu Kang, Sonya, and just out of this big, massive like mountain, just Shao Kahn's come out. And he's basically said, "Oh, you've defeated Shang Tsung. Now have a go at me." And then the film just ends. So they could carry it on if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think it'll be quite good. Anyway, what's your second idea, Benz?
My second one is similar to what I think they're gonna do in the new one. So obviously the spirit of doing pitches is not what you think is going to happen, but it's like what you would want to happen.
Yeah,
but I think,
definitely.
But I think what I've got here is probably most similar to what they might actually do. So I've got a protagonist that again will be used as a vehicle to meet other characters, but instead of having it a brand new character, I think it should be Cassie Cage. And you could flesh her out a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Have the tournament already happened about 20 odd-ish years ago, like before she was born. But have her know that it happened, and have her know about some of the characters. So maybe like she knows who Raiden is, but has never like met him or anything. She's just heard of the name. But she's met like your Earthrealm characters. So she's met Jax and whoever else might be.
A bit different to Mortal Kombat 10. Would you not have her in that squad with the other three characters? I'm blanking on their names now, but one's like a relative of like Kung Lao, isn't he? And another one is Jax's daughter.
Yeah, Jackie and Takeda.
Yeah. So would you not have them? Yeah. Would you not have those characters? Would you just have her? Like, she's not a special op. She's not anything like that. She just is more. Would it be more of a coming of age film?
Well, this is what I've put here. I have put a little section on genre that I was coming back to, but I'll say it now. For genre, I've put like a samurai coming of age film.
Yeah.
So I have like your traditional samurai action, but have it coming of age. But like the start of my plot would see her leaving home where Johnny and Sonya are to go and meet Jackie at like a sort of MMA training place that's run by Jax.
Yeah.
And then have something there which can explain a little bit about the characters and their relationships and stuff. And then when she comes home, maybe Johnny and Sonya are disappeared. And I've written here, word for word, this is what I've written. Cassie goes into the living room where Raiden is waiting, Far From Home-esque. So in Far From Home, you've got Samuel Jackson waiting for Tom Holland.
Shoots Ned.
Yeah. I think you could have him there, just sitting in the chair, Raiden, just
Yeah.
waiting for her to come home, and then basically have Raiden explain that they've been taken by a sorcerer who was thought to be dead from the tournament, and then have her go and take her off to wherever and meet some other characters and go from there.
Yeah, I think it could really work, and I think it could really work as like a Mortal Kombat 10 prequel. So you could finish the film that she's now in that squad with Jackie and is it Takeda and you could actually tie it in that way, and I think that could work very, very well. Because one of the problems I had with Mortal Kombat 10 was a bit like, well, who's this? Who are these people? And they do flesh it out a little bit, obviously, but I felt like sort of Jackie didn't really have any backstory to her. She was just Jax's daughter, and then that's her excuse for being the way she is she's Jax's daughter. Maybe like flesh them out a bit more and actually set it up, go into the events of Mortal Kombat 10, and then it's acts more of a prequel to 10 and sort of a sequel to 9. So I think that would really work. I think possibly it would work better as a second film, you do something like you said for your first pitch and I said for my second pitch, is you do sort of the traditional story. Maybe even if you do it as a series, it might work. That you could do the first episode, everything happens in the first episode. It's an hour long, everything happens, and then the second episodes from there on out, say it's an eight episode long series, it could be 40 minutes, and it could be going through what you said. One episode, you go and meet Jackie. Next episode, then you meet Raiden and stuff like that. I think that could really work as a series rather than a movie. But I think it's a really good premise, and would definitely give some more backstory to Mortal Kombat 10. I think that would really work. But again, what you said is, would you get the casual fans on board? I think probably you could. I think it'd be hard to pitch that as an idea to producers and stuff, because they'd be like, well, not everyone knows this, but I think that would really work.
It's mainly just having Cassie as your vehicle to go and meet everyone else, and then you can bring in Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and you can put them on your posters if you want, but have her as the centerpiece so that it's easy to follow along.
My last plot is just a quick one. It's a bit of a throwaway plot. I don't really think it as a serious one, but you basically do the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993, but you do it Mortal Kombat, whereas you go into a portal, and I think the lead character should be Johnny Cage. You follow Johnny Cage, he goes into a portal, he comes out into a cyberpunk world. And then what the Mortal Kombat tournament is an underground fighting league. And I think that would give some, being in a cyberpunk-esque world would give excuses to why can Scorpion throw a spear? Well, it's because his arm is actually a robot arm, and it comes out and it shoots a propelled spear, and, it retracts it. Or, Sub-Zero's got not pyrotechnics, but chirotechnics, is that what the word is for ice? So it's pyrotechnics, but with ice.
Cryogenics.
So he has like liquid nitrogen built into his arms that he can just pop out at any time. And the tournament is just an underground fighting league, and is at the top of the tournament is actually being run by a really dodgy corporate company, and the CEO of the company is Shao Khan. And you got to get through the Mortal Kombat tournament to get to Shao Khan. You beat Shao Khan, the corporate company fails, and people of the day-to-day people of the city are freed, something like that. Just absolute throwaway. And then Johnny Cage at the end of it comes back through the portal and goes, I've got a good idea for a movie. There you go. Just something like that. Just absolute throwaway, plot. It's obviously very jokey. I think it's something that would only be made in the 90s, obviously, like the Super Mario Brothers movie. I don't think it would get made today at all, but I think it'd be quite a fun like fan movie, don't you think?
Yeah, like grounding it in reality, giving it more reason. Obviously, you still have the portals and stuff, but you've got explanations for why people can do stuff without having to have like supernatural elements.
Yeah.
I think some more hardcore fans wouldn't be happy with it.
Not at all.
Changing the characters.
Not at all.
But yeah, I'd watch it.
I'd watch it. I think that would be absolute mental. I think, and then you can just do loads of different fights. Then you've got excuses. You can just they could be walking through a boxing like ring and just have, I don't know, Kano versus Cabal in the back corner, but it all makes sense because Kano's got his laser eye. How? Well, it's cyberpunk. Jax has got metal arms. How? It's cyberpunk. Stuff like that. And you can, and then you could have Shao Khan owns this corporate company and he's taking previous winners, Cyrax, Sector, Smoke, and turn them into full blown bloody cyber things. There you go. Yeah. That's why he owns the underground tournament. I'm just making this up on the spot now.
Why has Goro got 4 arms? It's General Grievous.
Cyberpunk. Yeah. He's got lightsabers as well. Why not? But yeah, I think there's some good plots there. I think your first pitch, or even either one of yours, are probably the more likable ones. They're probably easier to do, probably the ones that would make the most sense and bring in the most amount of fans as well. So some solid pitches. Let's take it to the producers. Get rid of this new one. Yeah. Take it off HBO Max.
Well,
do our one instead.
Better move on because I got really carried away with the cast and pretty much cast every character in Mortal Kombat.
I tried to, and then I was getting stuck on ones, and I'll tell you now. For Reptile, Ermac, Cabal, Sector, Jade, and Melina, I've just put anyone because they're under a mask.
Yeah.
So do you wanna go over the main ones to start off with? Because I love this first one.
Do you want to go back and forth? So I'll do my Raiden, and then you do yours.
Well, let's start with the big bad. Let's start with Shao Khan. Yeah, you all right? Yeah, got Shao Khan. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, I've put as Shao Khan.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even need to put makeup on. Just put a mask on him. He's done. I think he's a great actor. He can prove himself in a fight. All the Fast and Furious movies. He's definitely had some hand-to-hand combat there. But I think we are pitching the perfect quotes movie, and I think Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Shao Kahn could be quite funny, as well as. Don't reveal it's him. Put him under a mask. And then at the end of it, he gets his mask knocked off. He comes up and he looks up with his eyebrow and he goes, I smell what's cooking. So can you smell what's cooking? And then he brings out his hammer or something and knocks out Kung Lao or something like that. I think that'd be quite funny, but there you go. That's who I've cast as Shao Kahn. What about you?
Well, when you originally said The Rock, I thought maybe... you would want to see his face and maybe use more of his comedic talents. But to be honest, if he took it as his own, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah.
But for my Shao Kahn, I've put Spencer Wilding. Are you familiar?
Spencer Wilding? No, let me just give it a goose. I probably do, no.
He played Darth Vader in Rogue One, like the physicality. Obviously, he's not James Earl Jones. And he's done some other roles like that. But... he's clearly more than happy to play a role of being a big guy that just has a mask covering his face, and I think he'd do really well. And if you wanted someone else to provide a voice, go for it. But for physicality, I think he'd do really well in that role.
Yeah, he looks the part. That's for sure. He definitely looks butch enough. Yeah, he'd be happy to do it. He's in Guardians of the Galaxy as well, is he?
Oh yeah, he plays the guy that puts the headset on. Yeah.
Oh, does he? Yeah, he's been in Rogue One. He was in Shadow of War, a short film for the video game. That's quite interesting. Didn't know that. He was in Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. and he was in Men in Black International as well, and a lot of Doctor Who apparently. There you go.
Yeah, which obviously probably just has lots of makeup on, but he's clearly more than happy to play a more background role. But this role doesn't have to be background. He just maybe sits there menacingly for most of the film.
And he could be in it for 5 minutes, you know, like we were saying. Just bring a character in for 5 minutes, have a little punch up, done. I've next got Shang Tsung.
Yep.
I think this is perfect. I'm not sure you'll know him. George Takei?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm familiar. Yeah.
Obviously, he's done a bit of Star Trek. I think a lot of people probably know him from Big Bang Theory. He's been Big Bang Theory. He's getting on a bit. He's 80. He's in his 80s. But he's very sly. He's got a very sly, very menacing manner to him. Not necessarily played those sort of roles before, but I think as Shang Tsung, you grey him up a bit, and I think it'd work. He's actually filming Blazing Samurai, due to come out this year. I was a voice actor. Oh, okay. So he's still doing work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. What about you, Benz?
For mine, I've got three. I've got three possible actors.
Three Shang Tsungs.
First one who I'd want to see the most, which I've seen a lot come up online about him as well. Other people wanting to play him.
Yeah.
And that's Ken Watanabe.
Oh, I know him. Yep.
He's in Batman Begins as Ra's al Ghul's decoy, and he's also in Inception, the guy at the head of the table.
Yeah.
He's got that face. He looks kind of younger than he is, because I think he's like early 60s, which means he could play like an old and a young Shang Tsung, which is done sometimes in the games.
Born in 1959, he was.
Yeah. So I think he would work. Yeah. I've also got Jet Li, who is a more well-known kind of.
I don't think he's doing a lot of work at the moment. He's quite ill, isn't he? He's got that problem. I just want that Ken Watanabe. I just want to just touch on it a little bit more. He was the guy in the Godzilla films that goes, Godzilla, let them fight. And he's the best thing about those films. He's the only one that says Godzilla as Godzilla. And he's a brilliant actor, absolutely brilliant, and he's in Detective Pikachu. I didn't know that. There you go. Yeah,
he's in a lot of stuff. But with Jet Li, it was more the premise of it's what I would want to happen. It's more of a fantasy thing. Yeah. And then the last name, which I think would be very, very interesting, is Cary Tagawa, who played Shang Tsung in the original.
Bring him back. Obviously, definitely.
He did the voice in MK11, which came out 2 years ago. So
he looks the part as well. Yeah.
And then if you wanted someone to play a younger version, then you could get someone else.
Yeah, or even. Yeah, definitely.
And then I originally thought you could maybe also have him play like a Raiden or someone different.
Yeah.
But I think just bring him back as Shang Tsung. I think he did it really well.
Yeah, definitely. Soon as you said Raiden, let's go to Raiden next. So my one, it might seem a bit strange, and like I just want to declare that I don't know these actors. I don't know, where they're from, what originality they, what ethnicity they have. I don't want to white cast or anything like that.
Yeah.
But when I was doing, I said to Hayley, we're doing Mortal Kombat as a movie, and she said, "Oh, you got to cast Jackie Chan," and I was like, "But why?" Yeah. And but the more I thought about it, I was like, he'd probably make a good Raiden. I think he's a bit more sort of round in the face, and he's a bit more comedic than maybe. Well, but then we said that comedic elements in the original film, but I think he could probably hold his own in a fight as he is. You wouldn't have to get a stunt person in, but Jackie Chan as Raiden. That's my. And I love Jackie Chan. I've watched so many of his films. I just think he's a brilliant actor, really good stunts. I'd love for him to be in a Mortal Kombat movie as someone who doesn't die. So Raiden, there you go.
Yeah, I'd love to see at least a cameo from him in it. I think it's his sort of film, like in terms of it's like a more samurai Eastern film that would obviously be shown in the West, which is what most of his films are. So I'd at least want to see a cameo.
Oh, definitely.
But my Raiden, again, I had to research like ethnicities and stuff.
Yeah.
And Raiden in the originals is more like Eastern, but
Oh, is he?
as the games have gone on, he's become a Western figure.
Yeah,
Like
is he?
in 11 and 10, he looks American. Like,
Yeah, I would say he does. Yeah.
so I think you could cast anyone.
Mm.
So in the vein of that, I haven't cast an American or an East Asian actor. I've
Mm.
cast the fantastic Scottish actor Liam Neeson as Raiden.
Oh, go on. Yes, that would be
I love
perfect.
it. Just have him
Absolutely perfect.
have him act as Qui-Gon Jinn with
Yeah.
white hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Do
what I
it.
want.
Yeah.
Raiden.
Yeah. He would be perfect. He genuinely would. He's got that age to him that he looks like he's been through a lot. He knows, he looks very wise.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect. Absolutely perfect.
And in Batman Begins, I'm not 100% if he did his own stunts, but he definitely did in Star Wars. So he's got some kind of
yeah.
fighting repertoire.
But, I mean, Raiden doesn't really fight that much anyway.
No, yeah.
If you're following Mortal Kombat 9 story, he only really fights at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And if you're just having him fighting at the end, just film him from behind and get a stunt actor in, and then just have him as the close-ups or something. All he has to do is just point his arms out and do some electric. There you go. He's done. It's not like he's got to do all these like weird stunts and stuff. So, but let's move on. Johnny Cage. This one I probably thought about quite a lot. So when I think Johnny Cage, I think Kurt Russell, but he's a bit old now.
Right,
I think Kurt Russell would have been perfect in an 80s Mortal Kombat movie as Johnny Cage. So I was like, well, who's like Kurt Russell? Well, what about his son, Wyatt Russell? I know he's blonde. But I think if you take Wyatt Russell and you do him up like Kurt Russell, I think he'd look quite Johnny Cage-esque. He's quite well built as well. And he's been in some action flicks. He's been in Overlord. Have you seen Overlord?
I'm not familiar with him in anything, to be honest.
And also, he's US agent in the upcoming Falcon and Winter Soldier series. So, he's the son of Kurt Russell. He looks like Kurt Russell, but just give him jet black hair, slick it back. And he must be quite well built anyway. If he's in a Marvel TV series, they all have the have to be quite well built, don't they, for all the Marvel series now? So that was my first option, but this is the only one that I've got a second option for. People aren't probably going to love it. There'll probably be backlash against it. But Zac Efron. I think Zac Efron looks like Johnny Cage. There you go. Or Channing Tatum. That'd probably be better, actually. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe someone like that, But I think Zac Efron, he's quite witty in his films. He's bloody very well built, and he's got jet black hair. Put some sunglasses on him. He is a movie star. He doesn't need to act like one. He is one.
Well, my Johnny, I based it off of that as well, as you want someone who is a movie star. And for my first choice for Johnny, I actually chose the other son of Kurt Russell, that being Chris Pratt. Obviously,
really?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think
Chris Pratt. All right. I was a bit like, what? Well, I'm missing something here. Yeah, Chris Pratt would work. Yeah, definitely would. He's got quite a bit of witty banter to him, hasn't he?
Yeah, all the characters he plays have got that sort of cocky side to them. We want in a Johnny Cage. Obviously, he is a movie star, so he doesn't need to act like it. He's done action films before, like in as Star-Lord and everything as well.
Jurassic World,
But this one I've actually got 4 names for. Chris Pratt would most certainly be my number one. So like if I could choose who I would go with. Another one I've got is Zachary Levi.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
basically,
definitely.
Again, because the action and he's got the comedy that he's done as well. Why not?
1,000%. He is Johnny Cage, especially him and Shazam is just him, Johnny Cage, isn't it? It just is. Yeah, definitely.
The next one I've got is probably who I'd want to see the least, but it's still possible. That's Ryan Reynolds.
I've seen a lot of Ryan Reynolds, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, do I? But then,
Yeah.
no, definitely,
Because just having played Deadpool, but take the mask off,
The problem is, he is a bit too Johnny Cage, don't you think?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. He's like, and then the last name is the most interesting one I've got. But this is mainly based off of his character in Scott Pilgrim, the Edgar Wright film, that being Chris Evans.
Yeah, I thought you was going to say that. Yeah, when you said it, Scott Pilgrim, definitely. Yeah, I think Chris Evans can do martial arts. He can do comedy. He can be a movie star. We've seen him in Fantastic Four. It just, he'd be perfect. I think the thing is with Johnny Cage, he's a movie star with a good body. That is anyone in Hollywood nowadays. You know?
Exactly.
You can cast anyone.
Let it be The Rock.
Yeah, it could be The Rock. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it could be anyone. I think I could see why a lot of people online say Ryan Reynolds, but like I just said to you there, he's a bit over the top, but and a little bit older as well. He is now, not old by any means, but I think if you're looking, I said Zac Efron, Chris Evans is a bit older. You want to go around that sort of age bracket, don't you? So
well, my picks were mainly based on my my like Cassie Cage plot, where you have them all a little bit older anyway.
Well, now you said Cassie Cage, why don't you do Cassie Cage? Because I didn't actually jot one down, but I do have one in my head perfect for her.
So Cassie Cage, I've put down unknown young actress, because I would rather it be someone brand new. Same with Jackie Briggs. I'll just tell you both now. I'll put unknown young actress. That's who I would mainly want it to be. But I have written down a name in like the vein of kind of what I would want. So for Cassie Cage, I've put Chloe Grace Moretz. I wouldn't really want it to be her, to be honest. I'd rather it be unknown. But I think if you wanted a familiar face, that's who I'd go with. Jackie Briggs is a bit more interesting, because I put Tessa Thompson, who's a bit older than what I want. But again, that sort of vein of actress. Again, I'd want it to be an unknown person, though, ideally.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think, they're pretty much perfect. The only one I didn't think of one for Jackie Briggs. The only one I thought of for Cassie Cage, now I'm thinking about it, I've sort of got two. I think Miley Cyrus is who Cassie Cage is based on.
Right, yeah.
Pretty much, isn't she? You could cast her. I don't know if she does movie work anymore. But the other one, and I think she might be a bit of an unknown character, is Samara Weaving. Do you know her?
Yeah.
Is she related to Hugo Weaving in any shape or form? I'm not sure.
she might be.
But she's proven herself in, not only is she a very good actress, but she's done horror. She's done, a bit of action. She's done a bit of everything. I think she's very up and coming, Samara Weaving. The only issue is she looks a bit like Margot Robbie. It's like, I think that's the only thing sort of like everyone compares her to,
Well, wait until you hear her I've got for Sonia Blade.
Well, let's do Sonia Blade next then. So you've got Margot Robbie, have you?
I've got Margot Robbie. Originally, I wanted the parallel of having Johnny Cage to be an actual movie star and having Sonia Blade be an actual fighter, like an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
And obviously, the first person you think of is Ronda Rousey, who voiced her in Mortal Kombat 11 as well.
Yeah,
but the more I thought about it, her voice in that game is probably the weakest thing about it. She sort of sounds like she's just doing it from her bedroom. And I know she's been in like Fast and Furious and Expendables and stuff, but the roles in those are quite small. I'm not sure I'd want her to have such a bigger role as Sonia.
Yeah.
I thought about it more, and I thought the main reason I chose Margot Robbie is because I want to see her and Chris Pratt on screen together.
Yeah.
I think really well.
Be good dynamic. Yeah. I've put down for Sonia Blade, Charlize Theron. Very unlikely to actually be able to afford her. But just watch her in Atomic Blonde. She can do martial arts. She can do stunts. She's a great actress. yeah, she does a lot of different roles. I mean, just look at her in Mad Max Fury Road. I think she is Sonia Blade pretty much. I mean, just she looks like her, that's for sure. But I think also she can hold her own. Yeah, that's who I had as Sonia Blade. Right, hang on a second. Right, going down my list because we've sort of gone all up down. What about Jax?
Yep.
I've got Terry Crews. Yeah,
I've got exactly the same.
Yeah, just you can't get anyone else, can you? You want a big muscly guy, it's Terry Crews. I mean, who else are you going to get? He's definitely got the comedy to him as well.
Yeah. I also wrote down Mike Coulter, who plays Luke Cage, but that was more just typecasting because they're very similar characters.
Oh yeah, he'd be brilliant. Yeah.
But yeah, Terry Crews, first person that comes to mind, definitely.
It's got it is just straight up Terry Crews, Jax. That's it. That's him, isn't it? Yeah. Right, Liu Kang. Who have you got for Liu Kang?
Liu Kang, I have. Hold on, let me find him. I've got Daniel Wu. Do you know Daniel Wu?
Daniel Wu. No, I don't think I've heard of it. Well, the name rings a bell.
Yeah, he's in some films you'll know. So he's in the Tomb Raider, the 2018 one. He's in the blockbuster classic Warcraft.
Oh God!
In Geostorm, and he's in a few films with Jackie Chan as well. So he's known for like his action. Looking at it now, like talking to you now, I would probably actually switch who I've got for Scorpion with this guy, because the guy I've got for Scorpion is a bit more of a dramatic sort of actor, so he might benefit more from having his face revealed.
Yeah.
But Daniel Wu, he's in over 60 films, which is insane.
Yeah, I've just looked up on him on IMDb. Yeah, he's definitely got a resume, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've definitely heard of him. I don't think I've seen him in anything. And I recognise him as well. So, but yeah, definitely could work. And like you said, if he's been in some films with Jackie Chan, he definitely's got the experience. For Liu Kang, I've put Simu Liu. Do you know who he is?
No.
He is playing Shang-Chi in the upcoming film Shang-Chi and the whatever rings it is.
Yeah.
He's very up and coming. He's quite young. And when I think of Liu Kang and Kung Lao, I think quite young. So I think he'd be, and also he's in Shang-Chi, which is going to be a straight up martial arts film.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. He's quite a good cast for that. But it's difficult because there's loads of, people that are good with martial arts. It's literally just picking one, isn't it, really? So, yeah. What about Kung Lao? I've put for Kung Lao, Steven Yen from The Walking Dead, and he's voicing Invincible in the upcoming Invincible animated series. I think Kung Lao isn't as martial arts heavy. I think he's very quite, what's the word? Sort of stoic, very, doesn't show a lot of emotion. And he's very, he's very knowledgeable rather than Liu Kang, who's, he's ready to go. Liu Kang's ready to fight. Kung Lao is very sort of reserved and smart about things. And I think Steven Yen, he's not really been in anything martial artsy at all, but I think he would be quite a good cast for someone, who sort of has to tame Liu Kang and and advise him on things. The only issue is he's quite short, but I'm sure that's fine. What about you?
I've chosen someone similar in terms of having them as more of the reserved character, but Kung Lao has that very distinctive fast fists sort of fighting, rather than Liu Kang's got the more impactful punches,
legs.
So I was thinking more who's got the quick fighting, and I researched it a little bit, and this is who a lot of other people are saying is very similar, and that's Donnie Yen, who's in Rogue One.
Yeah.
who has the very similar fighting style, and I think you could have him as more reserved. Obviously,
Yeah.
both Donnie Yen and Daniel Wu are like older than you'd
Yeah.
envision Liu Kang and Kung
Yeah.
Lao, but they're similar in terms of that
Yeah.
sort of experience. Yeah, and I was thinking Donnie Yen's a bit of a familiar face.
Mm. Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. Yeah. No, I think that's a good choice. Good choice. Hang on a second. Let's have a look. Kung Lao, Sonia Blade. We've done that. We've done Jax. We've done Johnny Cage. Right, Kano. I've got next.
Yeah.
And for me, it's easy. Have you seen The Boys?
Yeah, yeah.
It's Carl Urban, isn't it? It's just that's who
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think Carl Urban's probably based on not Carl Urban, but obviously Butcher from The Boys. His accent is even Kano, where he don't know whether he wants to be English or Australian. It's like,
Yeah.
I think it's perfect, Carl Urban as Kano. Yeah, I don't. What else can I say? Looks like him. He's got the rough gruffness to him. It's Carl Urban.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got 3 names. One of them was Carl Urban. The other 2 I've got are Tom Hardy.
Oh yes,
who could do
definitely.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
So Tom Hardy. So yeah, he played that big guy, and he's done very different roles, but have him similar to like in Bronson. I think that would be
There
good.
you go. Yeah.
And then the other name I've got, who probably I'd want the most actually, is Jared Butler.
Oh yeah, Jerry
Because
Butler.
I think again similar to Carl Urban, he just is Kano already. Really.
Yeah, you can't argue with that at all. Yeah, no, that's definitely it. Yeah, either Jerry Butler, Tom Hardy, Carl Urban, any of them, they'd all do a fantastic job. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. And I think Kano's one of the characters. He's a throwaway character, and he's in it for 5 minutes and he's out again, type thing. So
yeah, it could be a comedic sort of death.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go Scorpion. Let's go one of the big boys. And this, for my choice, it's quite controversial, and I'm going to get a lot of. Well, I would, if this actually happened, there would be a lot of backlash and a lot of hate. But I think if you're not showing him outside of the mask, if he's in the mask the entire time, I think a really good choice would be Hugo Weaving. I think he's done voice work loads of times. He's V for Vendetta, for crying out loud. He's Red Skull. Again, it's more about, he's got that voice to him, that that dark, quite deep voice that is menacing, and I think that's Hugo Weaving straight up. Obviously, just get stunt doubling for the actual face of him and the actual fighting of him. But yeah, I think Hugo Weaving would be perfect voice anyway.
Yeah, no problem with that. So who I've gone for, again, I think looking at it now, I would probably switch Daniel Wu and this guy for Liu Kang and Scorpion. But I've put Henry Golding, who is he's in that Christmas film with Emilia Clarke. He's in Crazy Rich Asians, but which is more like dramatic roles. But then I saw that he's actually playing Snake Eyes in a Snake Eyes film this year.
Oh, is he?
Like G.I. Joe. So he must have some sort of like action training for that. So I think he could play Scorpion. But again, looking at it now, I'd probably actually switch Daniel Wu and Henry Golding.
He's quite, I would say he's quite smiley. I think he would definitely work better as a Liu Kang than a Scorpion. Yeah, but yeah, he'd be a great actor choice. Definitely. Sub-Zero. I didn't really know who to go with Sub-Zero. I wanted someone that, sort of looks like they've been through a lot and has got a lot of history, a lot of backstory. Someone very quite serious, not necessarily angry. I wouldn't say Sub-Zero is an angry character in the slightest. But I've gone, and you're probably not going to know him. Daisuke Tsuji, I think that's how you pronounce him. He is the main character in the video game Ghost of Tsushima.
Right.
And I think I'm pretty sure they probably mapped his face off of him as well, because it looks a lot like him. But when I thought Sub-Zero, I thought, you know, that sort of very reserved, been through a lot, very wise character. And yeah, Daisuke Tsuji, I think his name is. Let's just have a look. What else has he been in? He's been in quite a few things. Letters from Iwo Jima is one of his like well-known things. I think that's probably a foreign film to us anyway, you know. But yeah, he's been in quite a few, and he's done a lot of voice work. He's in Ghost of Tsushima. He's in Prey, the 2017 game. So he's got that voice acting talent, but also you could show him without the mask, because he looks the part as well. But I don't know what he'd be like martial art wise. But then for that, just get a stunt actor in, couldn't you?
Yeah. I went for, again, I might not get the name right. Iko Uwais, Ikouwais, who he is like a martial artist stuntman as well. He's an Indonesian actor, and he's in the Raid films. Have you seen them?
Yes, I've seen the first one.
Like low budget, like basically Indonesian version of Die Hard.
Yeah.
So he's got that kind of experience in him. And he's also in Snake Eyes as well, the upcoming one. I found out after that I actually chose him. But I think he could work well with another actor like Henry Golding or Daniel Wu.
Yeah, definitely. And he's got that martial arts history already there, so yeah, he'd be perfect. Yeah. Right now, this is a funny one, bit of a funny one. So for Sector, Jade, Melina, Cabal, I didn't put anyone down, but I did put someone down for Cyrax, just because in Mortal Kombat 9, you do. I think you play as him for a couple of fights before he turns into a cyborg. And I've put Jaden Smith, the son of Willard Smith, as Cyrax, just because it's very typical casting. He looks like him, and that's pretty much all I need to say, really. But that's just a sort of a jokey one, to be honest.
Yeah. I think if you're going to have him in, chuck Will Smith in there as well. Why not?
Yeah.
As someone. Yeah. I don't have Cyrax or Sector or anything.
No.
So I'll just tell you who I've got, and then if I get to one that you've got, we can do that. So I've got Striker. Have you got Striker?
Yes, I have got Striker. And it's a bit of an odd one. Do you want to do your one? Do your one first.
Mine first. So Striker is he's not the most loved character in Mortal Kombat, so I would have him sort of more as just a cameo. Maybe you kind of your Slipknot character from Suicide Squad who dies within the first 10 minutes. And I've put John Cena because I think he will take that fact that he's not loved and run with it. I don't think he'll attempt to make people like him. I think he'll turn it to a comedy character that can go die straight away.
Quite a comedic death to him as well. Yeah. I've put Keanu Reeves as Striker, with the intention of a bit more gunplay, because him and obviously in the John Wick films is all gunplay. I think give him a shave, maybe de-age him a little bit, and just have a quick scene of him running through the streets with his pistol, bang, 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 and then get stabbed at the end or something like that. Just a quick like, oh my God, it's Keanu Reeves. Oh, no, he's dead. Just something like that. That's who I've got, Striker. I have got one for Katana. Have you got one for Katana?
Yeah, I've got Katana,
I've put, and I looked, so what I did is I looked up Katana on the old Googs, and forgot how muscly that she is. She's very, very butch. Not in a bad way. She's just very muscly. So I've put Gina Carano as Katana from The Mandalorian, and she's a wrestler as well, I believe. But she also looks the part. I think she looks quite like Katana as well. And I think she's a good actress. So I think she'd be perfect as Katana.
Yeah. I considered her for someone else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But then went against it. Mainly based on the other actors I've got. I don't think she would completely fit with the rest of my cast. But but I think chuck her in it. She knows what she's doing in terms of action. So
yeah, exactly.
Katana I struggled with, to be honest. I chose Shiori Kutsuna, who is in Deadpool 2.
Right.
She plays Yukio, who is literally the complete opposite to Katana.
Yeah.
But again, she's a familiar face that we know. And in terms of what I would have planned for my plot, Shao Kahn's sort of family would be more in the background. It'd be more about the gods and the special forces. So I didn't really put a whole lot of thought in who Katana would be, because to be honest, I wouldn't even have a really fight if this was like the first film in the series.
Yeah.
Leave that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I struggled with it. So I basically just chose a name that I was sort of familiar with.
I'll tell you who else would be a good choice. And I don't know her name, so I'm just going to look it up. And this could be for Katana. This could be for Melina. This could be for maybe Jade even. But she was in Suicide Squad, and I can't remember her name. And I can't remember her character. Yeah, she's Katana. She's Katana, isn't she? Yeah. She plays Katana. In Suicide Squad. Hang on, let me find her name just before, because also she was in. I think she was in the Wolverine film as well. You know, the one set in Japan. I'm pretty sure that was her anyway. But yeah, she'd be quite a good choice for one of them. Just like any of those. Karen Fukuhara. That's her name. She's in The Boys. Of course, she's in The Boys. She's Kimiko in The Boys as well. So there you go. She's a great actress, and she can do an action scene easily. So
yeah.
Do
you have a Melina?
No, I don't. No Melina. No Jade.
Who else you got? Who you got left?
I've got Goro. Have you got Goro?
No.
Oh, my Goro is Vinnie Jones. I'm the Juggernaut,
right.
B.
Yeah. Go for
Why not? He's only going to be a voice anyway, wouldn't he? So there you go. That's my Vinnie Jones. That's my Goro even. I've got Quan Chi. Have you got Quan Chi?
Yeah, I've got Quan Chi.
All right, tell me your Quan Chi.
So I've got 3 names, but after you saying Hugo Weaving, I think he could play Quan Chi as well.
It'd be perfect,
Who's another one? The other names I've got, I'll leave one and come back to them because they relate to other characters. But I've got Voldemort himself, Ralph Fiennes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He could play Quan Chi. I've also got Mark Strong. I think he'd be a good Quan Chi.
Perfect.
The other name I'll leave and come back to. But the other name sort of, if you wanted an actor to play multiple roles, I'd have this person.
Right,
but if I could choose anyone, I'd have either Voldemort or Sinestro.
Yeah, they'd both be great actors. I didn't even think about them when I was casting. I just went for someone who's got a deep voice, and I couldn't think of anyone, so I went with Peter Serafenowitz, who is the Tick in the modern Tick series. He has got a voice that can do multiple roles. He's in Parks and Rec as like a top of the morning to like a proper British man. I just think he's great, and also shave his head. You know, he kind of looks like Quan Chi, so that's who I've put down. I've got so the only 2 left I've got Nightwolf and I've got Baraka.
Yeah, I've got both of them.
Okay, so I was just sort of doing comedic ones here now. So Nightwolf, I've put down Ken Hotate. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
In Parks and Rec, he is the Wamapoke chief, and he is very, very broad shoulders, very broad chest, and he is, he's Native American or whatever,
right?
And whatever you call them.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be great. He don't have to do any fighting. I just think he's a background character. Just get Ken Hotate.
Yeah.
The other one I've thought of is, I don't know if have you ever seen, I can't remember the name of the film now. It's got Jeremy Renner and it's got Emily Osment in it. I think it's Wind River. I think it might be. There's some really good Native American actors in that. Is that what they call? I don't want to do any wrong here. I think they're Native Americans, aren't they? There's loads, absolutely loads. So just take someone from there. Tantu Cardinal. I think that's a woman. Oh, yeah, it's a woman. My bad. Who got his Nightwolf?
I wanted someone that looks like they've been through a lot of fights and who has that sort of Native American look. So I immediately thought of Danny Trejo.
Oh yeah. Why didn't I think of him? Oh my god, yeah, definitely. he would be perfect.
Again, he doesn't have to say a whole lot. He can just stand there and
background
look like
character.
Trejo.
Yeah. Just literally having one scene, and then and then the people are like, hang on a minute, it's Danny Trejo. Just like I said with Keanu Reeves, like, hang on a minute. The only other one I've got is Baraka, and to me, it's easy. Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah.
Just obviously he's gonna be all mocapped anyway. Just Andy Serkis. Yeah. You could even do him as mocap man, couldn't you? Because he is mocap man. So there you go.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think he'd have any lines, but I think he would be in it quite a bit, Baraka. Especially if you're doing a lot of scenes of Shao Khan and Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. Baraka's always by their side. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've got two names. One of them again relates to other characters, so I'll come back. But the first name I mainly chose because he's played a character that sort of looks like him, and that's Bill Skarsgård, based on just Pennywise with the teeth.
Yeah.
Like he knows how to pull a funny face.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with a lot of his stuff. It's mainly Pennywise is my main
he's done some
sorts of call for him. But I do have another name if you wanted him to have a more physical role, which relates to my other characters, which I'll come back to. So I'll say the rest first.
Yeah.
So I have Fujin. So Fujin, the brother of Raiden, I believe. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he is. He's like a wind god. I'm not 100% off the top of my head, but I've put Henry Cavill, Superman, as Fujin, as the brother of Liam Neeson.
Let me have a little googs.
I think he'd he knows how to play a godlike character already. So I think he fits Fujin.
Oh yeah, he looks quite a bit like Smoke.
Yeah. Next, I've got Melina. Melina, I chose Jamie Alexander, who's in Thor. I think the second one, the best one, where she plays like a warrior sort of person.
Oh,
but she's got a face.
She's Lady Civ. Is that her name?
I think so. Yeah. But she's got a face. Don't want to be offensive. That sort of looks like it could work well as a Melina.
Right.
Again, you'd want it cover up. Yeah. You'd want it covered up for most of the film, and then have the reveal of the mouth. But she knows what she's doing again in terms of action and stuff.
Yeah.
For Jade, when researching Jade, I saw a lot of people say Zoe Saldana, but I don't think that would work.
I don't know. I don't know Jade's ethnicity, and obviously it doesn't really matter because we've said Hugo Weaving and stuff. But that's for me why I just went, she can be anyone, because I didn't know, is she an Asian character? Is she a Western character? Is she African American? What is she? I couldn't put it down. So I didn't really know what to do with Jade.
But so I chose someone in a similar vein to Zoe Saldana, who can do like action and stuff, but is a bit younger. So I chose Zazie Beetz, who is in Joker, and she
Oh
plays
yeah,
Domino in Deadpool 2.
yeah. Of course, yeah. Oh yeah,
I
she'd
think
be
she'd work
great.
well.
She's just a great actress.
Yeah. Next, I've got Cabal.
Right.
Cabal, I struggled with quite a lot, to be honest. But then I basically thought, well, he's going to have a mask on for most of the time with all the
Yeah.
tubes coming out and whatever else. So I thought, who's good at playing someone in a mask? And I thought Pedro Pascal, because he's the Mandalorian.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
And then off of Pedro Pascal, I also thought of his best friend Oscar Isaac,
Oh
and you could
yeah.
have either of them. I
Yeah.
think they work well.
There's quite a bit of a bad backstory to Cabal as well, isn't there? Like he gets ignited by Scorpion, doesn't he? And that's that's why his flesh is all rotting off and stuff. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're gonna have Cabal, and you need to sort of go into his backstory a little bit. Yeah, I like playing. Just side note, Cabal is one of my favourite people to play as.
Yeah. Next, I've got Kenshi, which is stolen one of your actors. I think Kenshi should be Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Because he's got that reserved sort of focused side, and again like action and stuff. And the great thing with Keanu Reeves is if you put a blindfold on him, you'll still know it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, and also, you're not then worrying about, upsetting ethnicity and stuff like that. So, yeah, that'd be perfect.
Next, I've got Aaron Black. I've got two people for Aaron Black, and I went down very different sort of routes for him. So the first one I've got, because Aaron Black's like sort of like your cowboy gunslinger. So the first one I've got is Timuera Morrison.
Oh yeah.
Jango Fett, Boba Fett, as kind of like your more been through the wars sort of cowboy, because Boba Fett, Jango Fett are your outlaws of Star Wars, so they're very similar to a cowboy sort of character. So I think he'd work well. And then if you wanted someone to be more of a menacing sort of presence who could just stand there and look like he's going to beat you up, Josh Brolin, in the vein of Cable, like Deadpool. Having there with guns and a hat.
I think also Jason Momoa could be quite a menacing looking guy, especially from Game of Thrones, where he don't say anything. He just looks like that. Yeah, definitely.
And he is Timuera Morrison's son as well.
Is he?
Aquaman. In Aquaman.
Oh yeah, of course he is. Yeah. They look similar, they don't look like they couldn't be,
Next I've got the rest of the classic ninjas. So we've been over Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yeah.
But I've also got Noob, Ermac, Reptile, Smoke, Rain, and Tremor.
Yeah, see, I gave up by this. Tremor? Was
Noob,
Tremor one
Ermac, and
classic
Reptile.
ones?
Well, when I searched up classic ninjas, it came up with those 8, so I just included him anyway.
Yeah.
But I'll do Tremor first. For Tremor, he's more of like, he's a bigger sort of build.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And he's like the orange sort of ninja. So I've chosen Batista.
Oh yeah.
Big Tremor.
Yeah, that'd be good.
For Rain, he's more of like would use like powers more than just brute force. So I was thinking, who's more of like a skinnier sort of actor that can still do like an imposing sort of presence. And Rain's got the purple as well, so it's more like regal. So I thought Tom Hiddleston could be Rain.
I see that. I can see that
as a British kind of presence in there. Smoke, I basically thought, who's got really nice flowing white hair, and who's a really good actor. So I thought Mads Mikkelsen could be Smoke.
I see that. Yeah, he's definitely a bit older, isn't he, Smoke, like compared to the other ninjas?
Yeah. Because I originally had Mads Mikkelsen put down for Raiden. But then I just preferred Liam Neeson in the role. So what we've got left is Noob, Ermac, and Reptile, and then also secondary actors for Baraka and Quan Chi. So these three ninjas you wouldn't see a human face on them, because Noob's like a shadow, Ermac's like a dead zombie sort of man, and then Reptile's like in recent iterations anyway, he's just like a lizard man. So I've got, for the physicality of these characters, Ray Park, who is Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace. And then I've also put, you could have him be the physicality for Baraka as well. So side note on that.
And he knows his stuff as well. Like, even recently, he's, you know, he can show fans how he does the jump over the lightsaber, and he does all the flips and everything. He can still do it now.
Yeah, he's kept up with all the martial arts and stuff. And then for the voice, I was thinking, who's got a good variety of voices, but are mainly sort of menacing, deep voices, mainly for Nuv and Ermac. Reptile can be a bit more like funky. And I thought Benedict Cumberbatch, who voices the dragon in The Hobbit, which is a very deep voice.
Smaug.
But also when you see him in like interviews and stuff, he can do lots of different voices. Like he does a good Gollum, so he could easily do like a Reptile that's a bit more funny. But have Ray Park play all the characters mocapped, have Benedict Cumberbatch voice all the characters.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, definitely. Don't disagree with any of those. Perfect.
That's it. That's my cast.
That's all you cast. That's the cast done. Yeah. No, I think the problem is with Mortal Kombat is there's such a roster. You know, like if we were saying, oh, Assassin's Creed, we'd be like, well, Ezio is this, and then that's about it. So yeah, sorry if we went on a little bit long there for the cast, but we're just fan casting, aren't we? So get carried away. Let's move on to directors. I had 3 in my head, and then the 4th one popped in my head last night, and I forgot to write it down, and then I was reminded to write it down again. So my first director is John Woo. People might know him from such films as the best film in the franchise, Mission Impossible 2. Obviously, I'm joking. But, you know, John, he's done a lot of films. He was big in the 90s. He was really big in the 90s. Late 80s as well. He directed Face Off, another like film people probably know, and just loads of films. He's done 43 films. I've just looked it up, and I think he'd be a great choice because he's got that 90s aesthetic to his movies. I'm sure it's probably changed now. I don't know. I've not watched any of his recent films. But you're sort of keeping it tied to the ethnicity of Mortal Kombat. I know it was developed in America, but, you know, there's a lot of Asian actors in it, a lot of Asian roles, sorry. And he can do martial arts big time, John Woo can. And that's what I was mainly thinking. And also that sort of 90s tie-in, maybe even set the film in the 90s and film it like it was the 90s, like we were saying earlier. So yeah, I think John Woo, that I think is a fairly good, strong director for a first choice. Maybe not, but for a third choice possibly. You know. So yeah. What's your first choice?
So I had 4 as well, but my first one's kind of just someone to think about. Like they never make it, and I wouldn't even want them to make it, but it's a really interesting pick, and that is Quentin Tarantino. Like, Tarantino's version of a Mortal Kombat film would be very interesting.
Be a lot of feet.
Well, Goro feet. I think it'd be interesting. I wouldn't want him to make it. He never would make it because he writes all his own stuff. But it's just an interesting.
But I see where you're coming from. Definitely.
Yeah.
Be very gory.
So my first actual pick is well, first of all, I'll say the 3 directors I've got are all British because British directors are the best directors. The first one is Matthew Vaughn, who
Okay.
directed the Kingsman films and Kick-Ass.
Upcoming Batman film. Is that him?
No, that's Matt Reeves.
Oh, my bad.
So he's obviously the Kingsman. The first one, the best scene in it is the church scene.
Yeah, definitely.
Which would be a great sort of action scene to have in a Mortal Kombat film.
Just make that the film.
All his films, yeah, all his films have got that comedy undertone as well, like especially Kick-Ass as well. But he knows what he's doing in terms of action, and I kind of chose him for if you wanted a big budget action comedy sort of film.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's a great first choice. Yeah. I can't argue with that. You know, Gentlemen Kick-Ass, they've got some great action scenes in. I don't know if you've probably got this director as well. I only found out recently that he's Welsh, and he directed The Raid, Gareth Evans. I thought The Raid was directed by an Asian director, but no, it was directed by Gareth Evans, a Welsh guy. Hats off to him.
Yeah.
I think he directed the sequel as well. I could be wrong. But I mean, people think martial arts in this day and age, they think The Raid, you know, so I think he would be number one choice personally for me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, obviously those films are more like lower budget, which it could be good for for this type of film. I've got one in a similar vein to that as a lower budget director,
right?
Which is Ben Wheatley. Are you familiar with him?
I'm not sure. Let me have a little Google on him.
So he directed a film called High Rise with Tom Hiddleston, a film called Free Fire with Brie Larson.
I've seen that. Yeah, good film.
And a film called A Field in England, and they're all quite low budget sort of crime genre sort of films.
Yeah, they're low budget, high actors, aren't they? You know.
Yeah. But I mainly chose him because of that action, but also because he does something similar to the next director that I've got, which is visual comedy rather than dialogue comedy. Because a lot of films now are just dialogue comedy, where you might as well just make a sketch show rather than a film, because you're not making use of the specificity of the medium of film in your comedy. You might as well just do a stand-up show. So for me, visual comedy is much more impressive to see in films. So I think he'd do it really well, again from a low budget perspective as well. If he was directing this film, you wouldn't have all those all those actors in there.
Do you want to know what he's what
films
he's directing coming up? He's directing Meg 2: The Trench and Tomb Raider 2. This director. He's just finished a film called In the Earth, which should be coming out this year.
Yeah, right. Because I've seen a short film that he made. It's called U for Unearthed, which was like part of a series of short films where they went through all the alphabet for like short horror films.
Right.
And his one's U for Unearthed, where the whole film is like from the perspective of like a zombie vampire thing, and the whole film is just POV from that side. And there's a lot of gore in it, so you could do the gore well in Mortal Kombat. But there's also a moment in that film where you as the vampire are like fighting off all these people, and you get to the last one, and like he's scared, and like it's what you're gonna do. You could do whatever you want to this guy, and you just kick him in the balls, which is a great bit of visual comedy rather than just like ripping his head off or whatever. So I think he could do well in that field.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like you said, the '95 movie had a lot of comedic moments to it. It definitely needs it, and it's a film so dark and gory like Mortal Kombat. It definitely does need that uplifting to it. So yeah, 100%.
Have you got another director?
Right, this might be a bit of a strange one, but stay with me. I've chosen Edgar Wright, more specifically because of Baby Driver. Now, in Baby Driver, there's a lot of, you know, action to the beat, whereas there's action cues pulled off in time to the beat with the music. And because of that, I think, you know, it shows Edgar Wright can do some fantastic action scenes. That chase in Baby Driver, you know, just after the last heist goes tits up, brilliant. You know, the shooting in time to the music. I think you could have that, but you could have obviously people punching in time to the music. You know, you choose your song first and you write your script to the song. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant film. I love Baby Driver, and I think Edgar Wright would be good action martial arts choice. For something like this, I think it. You know, it could. He's definitely got room to stretch his feet. I don't really think he's done much hand-to-hand combat stuff before, but I think it would be quite a good opportunity.
Right. Well, my third director is also Edgar Wright.
How is it?
No
There
word
you
of
go.
a lie. Which is where Ben Wheatley came from, because I think he's basically just the low budget version of Edgar Wright.
Yeah, definitely.
But I wrote down like things, because he does that visual comedy as well, like the Cornetto trilogy, obviously famous for it. Shaun of the Dead's got all the gore, so he knows what he's doing in terms of that. Well, all of them do, really, the Cornetto trilogy. He knows how to do visual comedy, because even in like what's it called, The World's End, arguably his weakest film, even that has got like great moments of visual comedy when when they're pouring all the beers and then he pours the last one and it's a glass of water. Like, that's great. It doesn't need any words and it's funny. I then also thought, obviously, Scott Pilgrim as well, got a lot of action in it.
I totally forgot about that.
Again with the music as well, all fits in. It's very comic booky style, which is kind of relates to the video game sort of style as well.
I totally forgot.
I've also put down Baby Driver as well, with just the set pieces in that as well. They'd work well. I
totally forgot he even done Scott Pilgrim. Didn't even click for me, but yeah, definitely. My fourth one is a bit of an easy one, but it's the Russo brothers. I mean, you just got to watch Captain America: Winter Soldier, just to see how good they can do a martial arts scene with you know, the witty comments and stuff to it. I think the Russo brothers are, I mean, they're probably very, very expensive now with, you know, the success they've had, but I think they'd be brilliant. I didn't base it on like the Avengers, but now I'm saying it, they can show that they can work with a very big and diverse roster and get everyone to have key moments in their films, you know, especially with Infinity War and Endgame. So, yeah, I'd say the Russo brothers would be a great choice. Very expensive, but we are pitching the quote-unquote perfect Mortal Kombat movie. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Who you got, Ben?
Well, that's the three there. The three British directors are all mine. Obviously, Tarantino thrown in there for a thought as well.
Yeah, totally.
I've also got producers, writers, and composers. If you've got them.
No, I haven't got any.
No, all right.
No.
So I'll go over producers. The first one I put is James Wan, who's already signed on to be a producer for the new Mortal Kombat film.
Yeah, makes sense.
He produces a lot of films that he doesn't direct. So I think he produced The Invisible Man, which came out last year.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing in terms of like gory sort of stuff, and I think he'd be a great addition. Other producers I sort of struggled with because I think it's quite hard to choose a producer. But I chose a guy called Takashi Miike, mainly because he does a lot of samurai films. So he knows what he's doing in terms of that style of action. But also, I don't know if this is 100% true because I don't think I've seen any of his films. And this is more something I just found online. But apparently his films are heavily influenced by the works of David Lynch and David Cronenberg, which would be also quite interesting perspectives to have. Obviously, David Lynch is quite surrealist sort of filmmaker, and then
take it in a
Cronenberg
different
gives that
direction.
horror as well.
Shake things up a bit.
Yeah. But they're all my producers. The actual producers for the actual film are James Wan, Todd Garner, who I'm not sure if he directed or produced Tag, the film with Jeremy Renner.
Oh, right.
The comedy film. And also E. Bennett Walsh, who did the Men in Black reboot and Amazing Spider-Man 2, which aren't fantastic films, but I guess you've got a more action comedy sort of perspective on it there.
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 2 gets a lot of hate. I personally liking it, but each to their own.
Yeah. For writers, I've got Lee Whannell, mainly because he works very closely with James Wan. So he wrote the Saw films, which James Wan directed,
right?
Conjuring films, but he also he was the director of The Invisible Man, which he also wrote as well. So again, it was mainly because you've already got James Wan there. I just chucked him in there as well. But I've also put if you've got Edgar Wright as the director, he should be writing it as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of the stuff that he does, he co-writes. So the Cornetto trilogy, obviously co-wrote with Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
And then I think the other films he's co-written with different writers. So you could have him co-write with someone else as well if you wanted to do it with Lee Whannell. So you've got both.
Yeah.
And then
got
you can
that
link
horror and
Edgar
comedy
Wright and James Wan.
Yeah.
Obviously Edgar Wright obviously knows what he's doing with horror already because of like Shaun and the Dead and stuff.
Yeah.
But give a bit of a boost. And then composers, I've got two. The first one, very obvious choice, Alan Silverstree.
Oh yeah.
Avengers, Back to the Future.
An obvious choice because his music's very uplifting and broad, and you know, and when I think of Mortal Kombat, I think something like drum and bass. So I don't think big orchestral music and uplifting. So yeah.
Right. I was just thinking like big budget action, but obviously whoever composes the film, I obviously want the original theme to be in there. Whether it's just in there as like a splice or whether it's like the whole thing, because watching the 95 Mortal Kombat the other day, the original theme is literally just chucked in there 3 times in the film, like not edited at all. It's just the theme from Mortal Kombat.
Wasn't the theme made for the film as well? I don't think it existed before the film.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was made for the film. So
yeah, but the film just opens up with like the announcer guy screaming Mortal Kombat, and then the thing starts. Let's do the same, honestly. And then my other choice was Brian Tyler, who composed Fast and Furious films, and also the 3 best MCU films: Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, and Age of Ultron. Because they're more kind of actiony, like Fast and Furious, obviously with it's fast paced sort of stuff. But if you've got Edgar Wright directing, he knows how to use music in his films, so you might not even necessarily need a dedicated composer, to be honest.
I'm just going to look up 1 second. Have you ever watched the film Hannah?
I don't think so.
Is it Hannah? Is it Hannah? I can't. It's got Amanda Seyfried in it, I think. Is it? Is it wrong? Different girl. But I think Chase and Status actually provided the music for it. I could be wrong. No, it's not. It's not Amanda Seyfried. Sorry, it's someone completely different. But let me have a look on who composed that, because that. So when I think Mortal Kombat, I think 90s. I think drum and bass. That's just where my mind goes to. So I think music by Tom Rowlands, The Chemical Brothers, and Ed Simmons, The Chemical Brothers. It is the best. Hannah is a very sort of Bond-esque action film. And the Chemical Brothers, you know, they supply the music to it. I don't think it's all like this is the Chemical Brothers song. It is they actually composed the music for it, and I think they could be quite a good choice.
Yeah,
someone a bit different. So
yeah.
So I haven't got anything else to say. Have you got anything else to say?
Other than I've also written down the confirmed characters for the new film.
Oh yeah,
It's got some interesting ones in there.
Yeah.
So you've got your big boys, obviously, like Sonya Blade, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Kano, Liu Kang, Jax, Shang Tsung, Melina, Kung Lao, and then the two most interesting ones are Cabal, who you wouldn't necessarily think they might chuck in.
Yeah.
And then the most interesting is Nitara, who I'd never heard of.
No, I've not heard of them either. Is that, do you think, maybe like a Melina-esque character?
Well, I think it's probably like a sort of Kintaro Goro sort of character, I guess, just from the name. I'll quickly look it up now. Yeah, she's like a woman with wings on.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah. Who knows? Who knows what sort of character she'd be? I don't know, but
which kind of looks like the character kind of looks like Gina Carano.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing, I'll tell you that. But I mean, you've only got to wait a couple of months and the movie will be out. So, you know, it's not
hopefully.
long to wait. Yeah, hopefully. Well, it's coming to HBO Max, so I'm sure we'll get some sort of version of it in the UK. I don't know, honestly, but fingers crossed because I want to watch it. So, yeah, be good. I think that does about everything. Yeah, so thank you for listening. Please be sure to leave us a rating wherever you listen to us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. I think we're on Stitcher. I think we're on Deezer. I think we're on TuneIn. So there's, you know, we can find us anywhere. If you want to send us a question or a recommendation for a topic, send us an email to playwatchpitchcast@gmail.com. That's playwatchpitchcast, all one word, gmail.com. If you want to see updates about our podcast on social media, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/playmovieswatchgames. Alternatively, you can find us on Twitter. Our username is @playwatchpitch.